Now in this video, I'm going to talk to you about storage for video, in particular hard drives. So if you shoot video regularly, eventually you're going to run out of space on your local hard drive, and even with smaller external drives, you're going to start to see those filling up quite quickly, and you're going to need quite a lot of them. But there's also another reason why it's good to look at a faster, larger capacity video drive, and I'm going to talk about that soon. So you might be thinking at the moment, why do I need so much space? I'm shooting on SD cards or compact flash cards like this, and by the time I put them on my computer, you know, they're only a few gigabytes at a time. Now, to understand why storage is so important, you've got to understand a little bit about how video storage on cameras, and in particular how they record and how that works. So cameras most of the time record in a compressed format. That means the video files are being compressed as they're recorded, and that allows them to fit quite a lot of data onto small cards like this. Now the problem happens when you come to edit that video, because most video editing software needs to decompress the files in order to edit them. And they will basically convert the video files, the compressed video files, into a much larger file. Now, you might be thinking, if you use something like Adobe Premiere, no, I'm just bringing the files straight in, they're working on the timeline, it's not doing any of that. It is actually creating those files in the background, and what you will find is that your hard drive is slowly filling up, sometimes with files that seem like they're invisible, but somewhere on that computer, Adobe Premiere or whatever your edit software is will be making these uncompressed or larger size files. So once you start the editing process, you're going to see, as I say, your hard drive start to fill up really quickly. So what are the options? So there are three major drives that I've got here. The first is the Lacy Rugged. Now these are really great drives for a number of reasons. The first one is that they're pretty fast for what they are. We use the Thunderbolt variants, so they have a connector like that on it, which is basically a Thunderbolt 2 connector. That means the data transfer rate between the hard drive and the computer is pretty fast. As the name suggests, they are rugged. They've got this rubberized case around them. That means if you drop them, they're going to stay well protected. And also, they're dust proof, so if you're kind of chucking these in your bag and going from shoot to shoot, you know that your drive's going to be pretty protected because it's got important footage on there. Now, as I say, these are great, but the capacities that they come in only normally go up to sort of 3 or 4 terabytes. So although that sounds a lot, as I say, with video, once you start editing it, that's going to fill up the drive like this pretty quickly. So the next option is something like this. Now this is a desktop drive, so it's not what you describe as a portable drive, but it's a fast RAID drive. Now if you don't know what a RAID is, it's basically 2 separate hard drives working together as one. And because the data can be written to those 2 drives simultaneously, it basically makes them kind of twice as fast as one like this. The downside to that is that if you use this in a sort of standard RAID configuration or the fastest RAID configuration, if you lose one of those drives, if something happens mechanically to one of those drives, you've lost everything. Okay, so that's not ideal, but it does make for a very fast drive. So the way that we would use these in a workflow is that we would be regularly backing up to an external drive like this, and we'd use these for editing, but we wouldn't 100% rely on these, so we'd always have a backup if we were using this in the RAID configuration, the fast RAID configuration. Now, another step up from this, and it's a big step up both in terms of size, capacity and money, is something like this. Now this actually has 4 separate drive units in it, but it uses a slightly different RAID configuration. And what that means is that if one of the drives mechanically fails, the data is safe on the rest of those drives. So you can actually recover all your data even if one of these drives fails. It's still really, really fast, so it still uses those 4 drives simultaneously, but it just does it in a slightly different way. Now, although it's a desktop drive, you wouldn't describe it as really easily portable. These G drives do actually kind of have handles on the top, and they are meant to be sort of moved around between shoots. So they're reasonably tough. Personally, I wouldn't be wanting to lug this around every single day, but as I say, they are designed to be able to move it from one office to another. Now, if you're using a RAID drive, either something like this or something like this, the other thing you're going to notice is your videos edit so much faster. So you can have a really, really fast computer with a really fast processor, lots of RAM, but if you've got a slow hard drive, that video is going to be reading really slowly on your timeline, and you'll notice it being really buggy. So having a faster hard drive will make the video editing process so much smoother. So you can edit reasonably smoothly on something like this, but as soon as you start layering video one above the other, and you start putting in graphics, music, text, what have you, then a bigger hard drive, especially a RAID drive, is going to make a massive difference. In terms of cost, very roughly, you'd be looking at about £400 for something like this, £600 to £800 for something like this, and then upwards of sort of £1,200 for something like this. But it's a big investment. I mean, this is your raw video footage that you're looking after. In something like this and something like this, the drives are removable. So if you do have a drive fail, it doesn't mean that the unit's useless. You can just replace the drive, put it back in, and you're right up and running again. So hope that explains a little bit about video hard drive storage. If you've got any questions, feel free to stick them in the comments or drop me an email.